Ryan, you see the video okay on YouTube?
Let me check. I just had it up. Where did I put? Yes, it is playing.
All right, I'm just going to leave that slide up until we get started, and then I'll start recording.
Do me a favor, switch slides real quick just to make sure I see it change. Did you change it? I didn't see anything change.
Yeah, it takes like 30 seconds.
I see. Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah. You're good. Put it back. You're good. Everything's ready.
All right. welcome everybody to setting up your classroom technology for simultaneous instruction. I'm Brian Bizzigatti. I will be presenting to you today along with my co-host, Ryan Goff. I'm going to give a couple minutes just for people to get logged on to the video, and then we'll get started here. All right, so we'll get started with the presentation now. As I said, we're going to talk a little bit about setting up your technology you have in your classrooms. So our agenda for today, we're going to be looking at student devices, what you have available for students in your classrooms, teacher devices that are in the classroom, some basic setup on how you want to use devices in your classroom, things you want to go to make sure you have your Zoom set up correctly, and then we will have time for questions as we go through the presentation and at the end. So I just want to take a look at the link here in RCSD Learns. If you're in this session, you should have an all-in-one touchscreen desktop and your laptop with an HD television in your classroom. So on that RCSD Learns page, this is where you went to get the link to the live session. Above that, you'll notice there's a link. You can have the actual Google slide presentation that I'll be going through. So you can click on that slide deck link if you want to open that presentation to have it. And then at the end of the presentation, we'll be opening up a survey for you to fill out for attendance. And that link's right down here on the bottom. So once again, if you are in this session, you should have a classroom with an all-in-one touchscreen desktop. You have your laptop and a high-definition television. So we had listed the schools here. If you have different devices in your classroom, now is when you would want to go and you can enter a different session if needed. If you only have your laptop and a smart board, you want to go to that session. And those are all on the RCSD Learns page. So there will be a question and answer form that we will be using throughout this presentation. So if you go to that link, and again, this is just on the RCSD Learns page, you can type the questions you have as we're going through the presentation, and we will pause and answer those questions. So where you saw the live question link right here, that'll just open a Google form for you. You can put your questions in, and then we'll pause and go through those questions. So first thing we're going to talk about are student devices. Students that are in kindergarten through second grade, we will supply so that there's an iPad for each student in the classroom. So the number of kids you have face-to-face in front of you should be able to each have an iPad to work on. This distribution will be done through your building's administration. So devices will be sent to the schools, and then the schools need to decide and distribute the correct number to each classroom. Students that are in grades 3 through 5 will have a Chrome device for each student. So this could be a Chrome box or a Chromebook. So depending on the school, you're going to allocate so that every student has access in the face-to-face environment to a Chrome device. If you have a room where you may not have enough physical space to have Chrome boxes for the number of students you have in front of you, you need to talk to your building to try to use Chromebooks in that situation. So this will be dependent on the school and the classroom setups, what type of device you have. Both the Chrome box and the Chromebook operate the same on Chrome. Students in grades 6 through 12, when we open that phase, are going to be able to bring Chromebooks to school each day. So they'll have their own Chromebook in front of them in class to use. This is the same as we've done for students in 9 through 12 with the take-home model previous to the shutdown. We will be providing backpacks for students in grades 6 through 8 They have been ordered. So when those come in, those will get shipped to schools. Students in grades 9 through 12 were given backpacks when they got their carry model Chromebook. So they should still have their bag to transport their device to school and back home. This we know is a big concern of teachers. So we've worked to be able to supply devices so that each kid can have a device while face-to-face. So at this point, are there any questions on student devices or anything up to that point, Ryan?
At this time, nobody has any questions. Again,
Okay.
don't forget to post your questions in the form that Brian had referenced before. If you need to see where that is, it is on the RCSD Learn site.
And there is a bit of a delay from when we're speaking to when you see it on YouTube. So we try to give us a little time so that we can get those questions brought in and answer them as they come in. So we're going to move on in the presentation. We'll take another break to answer questions. As I said, we're looking at teachers that have your teacher laptop available, an all-in-one device, and an HD TV. So your laptop that you have has a webcam on it, a microphone, audio system, and can connect to the HD TV display. If you need to connect your laptop, you can do that through the ports, and we're going to look at that a little bit later. The desktop all-in-one also has a webcam, a microphone, audio, and it is also interactive and connected to the HD TV for you already. So this is where you're going to do the writing. Most teachers are used to this and had been using them before the shutdown took place. You don't write on the TV, we write on the all-in-one monitor and it displays on the television. And then there we just have an image of the HD TV up on the wall. So we have a video we're going to show, I think it's about 6 minutes, just going through some of the stuff in the classrooms with the all-in-one monitors and the HD TVs. So we'll go ahead and play this video. Afterwards, we're going to look at a little bit more of the setup, and then we'll take some questions.
Hi everyone, today we're going to show you how to use Zoom and teach simultaneously when you have an all-in-one computer with a TV. And then you could also use your laptop as another screen or device. All right, so first make sure we turn on our all-in-one, which is right over here on the side. And then at the same time, we probably want to turn the TV on the side as well. Okay, so we'll do that. We'll get everything booted. If this is the first time you're turning this on, after coming back, so it might take a little bit to just get rebooted, maybe have updates, so just give it a minute or two or 10. Okay, so right over here, you now want to log in, and you can just move your fingers and then you can type. You can also use the keyboard if you want, so make sure you're logged in. Now I have it tilted because with the all-in-ones, remember, you could write on the screen or on the computer itself, so I like it tilted that way. What you want to do is you want to make sure that your screens are the same, right? So you're going to do the Windows right here on the keyboard. You're going to do the Windows P to look at your displays, and then you'll see that there's multiple displays that you can do. In this scenario, when you have an all-in-one computer and a TV, the best way is to just duplicate. So that means that you're going to have anything that you do right here, you're going to see on the TV as well.
If you are hearing an echo, make sure you don't have the video playing on 2 separate screens.
I am going to get on Zoom to see my students. I have a student, so I'm going to admit them. And now I have my Zoom. I can see my student. So now in terms of writing on the board as well as sharing your screen. So one of the things you can do, I'm going to show you with Smart Notebook first. I'm going to open up Smart Notebook. I can share the Smart Notebook with my students. So I'm going to click Share Screen. And I can either share the entire screen, that means that my students in Zoom will see everything on the screen, or I can share just the Smart Notebook, and that's what I'm going to choose here, and I'm going to click Share. So now you can see anything that I'm sharing is going to have a green outline. I can make this a little bit bigger, and I could go ahead and start writing on it. I could also use my pen, my finger here, because this is an all-in-one. And then let's see what the students see. Also a way that you could split your screen to make it that you can see the students on one side and your what you're writing or your notes on the other side. To do that, you want to make this, minimize this, and then move it over to the left, and you'll see like this kind of outline shows up. And what this does is make it half screen. And then you can do the same thing with maybe another item that you're looking at, or maybe you want to see all your students right over here. Still use your laptop to put the students and see all the students as well as the chat. Because right now it's a little bit hard to kind of talk to the students in Zoom, have a conversation with students in class, do the notes, and still look at the chat and see what's happening with the students. So one of the things you can do here is minimize this so that maybe the students in class don't get distracted with the students in Zoom. But then you can come over here on the laptop and get on Zoom here as well. You can log into Zoom on multiple devices through Rock Connect. Like my laptop is not hooked up to the all-in-one or the TV, it's just on its own. And so what I'll do here is also go to RCSD Bookmarks, go to Rock Connect, and I'm gonna go to Zoom as well. So I can log into Zoom in multiple accounts. So when you're launching the meeting, you're gonna open Zoom meetings. Now here, this is important. In order to not get any feedback from your volume, don't join with your computer audio. Don't join with audio at all, okay? And so that way here, you'll be able to see all the students, and you can actually move this, the shared, and you could see, you know, everything here. You can see all the students, some of the students, all the students. And you can do it side by side gallery. And you could even move this over so you can see the students even bigger. But here I can see all my students. I can check my chat, okay? And it's not showing up on the all-in-one or the TV. So here I'm working on my presentation with my students in class and at home. And then on my laptop, I can see all my students and I can see the chat. So that would be an option for you if you have this set up.
Oops, sorry.
Hi everyone, today we're going to show you how to use Zoom and
So just a couple things that were in that video. You're going to want to go into your room and play around with your device a little bit before you got students coming to sit in front of you. Different teachers are going to use it in different ways. One key thing though is, if you notice there, she said she only wanted to share the smartboard file. So when she went into share screen, she didn't click that screen one. That's going to share the whole desktop. So then you would have students in Zoom seeing the Zoom attendees on the side of their Chromebook already, and you would have them on top of the shared screen also. So that's a case where you would just want to share the app that you're going to be using and writing on, so the students at home don't see the double images of people in the meeting. You could still have that Zoom image on the board, on the desktop, on the TV, so kids in class could see, but you didn't want to share it out with the students. So moving on here, we just got a little bit with the setup of the TVs. And just a reminder that the technicians have gone in and hooked all the all-in-ones and televisions up. You do not have to worry about hooking those up at all. They should all be connected for you. So on the Triumph TVs, which is what a lot of our classrooms have, I know some people have Vizios. Remember, if you don't have the remote and you can't find the remote, you do have the control buttons on the side of the television. So that top button, you can change your input select. Okay, you can control volume and things on there. So using those buttons on the side is helpful. Down on the bottom, we just got a little image of the control box. So most of our secondary classrooms, you should all have those control boxes installed. And this is where you can hook different devices up to the TV. So by default, the desktop all-in-one is connected in the HDMI 2 port. So that should already be plugged in for you. If you want to display your laptop or a document camera or a student Chromebook or something on the television, you'll have an HDMI cable that you want to connect that device into the HDMI 1 port. So you'll have a port here for HDMI 1 that's open, and you can connect those devices to it. When you do that and you want to show a different device than the all-in-one, make sure you go up and change the input. So instead of HDMI 2, you'll want to switch it to HDMI 1, and then you could show your document camera up on the television. You want to go back to the all-in-one, you're just going to hit that input button again and select HDMI 2 to get the all-in-one displayed. Also on this slide, we did, what's that?
Sorry, we just had two questions about setup that I was going to interject real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
The first one is the teacher had said wow, new mouth this morning. The teacher at home had set up their TV and their laptop to be at the same level. So when they were working on Zoom, they could have it at the same level and it was convenient for their teaching. My suggestion to that individual is if you have the opportunity to go into your room ahead of time to figure out how to set that up, and she had asked for suggestions, I would suggest maybe using something that's in the room, maybe books or an empty box that's already in the room to try and get yourself at that same level. Right now, we're not using the books because everything is remote or hybrid. So that would be a good thing maybe to stack some books up and put your laptop on it. Just make sure what you choose to do is going to put it in a place that allows it to be pretty sturdy. And then the second question, Brian, was about the wireless microphones. There's teachers in a room, co-teachers in a room that all were mic'd up, and they want to know if all of them mic'd up to the all-in-one is going to be able to be heard by the students at home. I'm
that's something we may have to go test. I haven't done multiple mics in one classroom. So we'll have to look at what happens if you have multiple mics set up. And with the laptop, if you're probably just going to want to get it the same height as the all-in-one monitor. So like he said, I would try to just find something in the room that you could move over there and have your laptop on. So on this slide, we also had a document attached for some computer settings. We'll just take a quick look at it. You have that availability on the slide deck. Changing the display options. Remember, you just hit that Windows P and it will open up this menu for you. We're suggesting for most of the HD TVs, you're going to want it to be on duplicate so that what's on the monitor is the same as what's on the television. Because you do the writing on the interactive monitor, you're going to want the same display on there as you have on the television. You may talk to some teachers you know that work in elementary buildings and stuff, and for them, we're suggesting a lot of them use the extend screen. They do not have the interactive all-in-one. So it's a little different for the different school levels. When you have the interactive all-in-one, you want to have duplicate. So when you're writing on that monitor, it's being displayed right to the television. You may want to go in and also check the power settings on your computer. And this includes the all-in-one and your laptop. You don't want your computer going to sleep while you're in the middle of teaching and stuff like that. So go into the power options and you can set when it turns off, when it goes to sleep and stuff like that. So just a few things, you can go through that document and check on those, make sure it's not going to shut off on you while you're teaching. Go back to the presentation now. And again, as I said, the all-in-one monitors and TVs should all be hooked up for you. So the only thing you'd really want to worry about if you want to connect your laptop or a dock camera, making sure you have a cable and connecting that to this control panel. And if you have questions, remember, you can reach out to the TOAs and we can come in and help you when you go to set up your rooms.
So for connecting a dock cam, one of the questions came up, if I have a dock cam connected, will the students on Zoom be able to see it?
When you're sharing your screen, so like before I said, if you just want to show the smartboard file, you would click and show just that one application. For the dock camera, you can click on that screen one. So then when it'll show your desktop, when you display it up on the TV, the students at Zoom will see whatever you're displaying. So for the dock cam, I would share your desktop, which will say screen one or screen two for the TV.
And then two questions came up. One is, are we going to be provided HDMI cables for the TVs, or do we have to provide our own cables? Right now, the district is supposed to have this set up for you, so the cable should already be provided in there for you. If you're finding that the cable is not, please make sure to fill out a help desk ticket. And then someone had asked if they were going to be getting a stylus for the HDMI televisions. Styluses are for smartboards or Triumph boards. The HDMI TV is just a regular TV, so you would not necessarily have stylus for regular TVs if that's how your setup is.
You can use a stylus on the all-in-one monitor. I do not know that they are provided. I know some teachers got them when they installed those all-in-one touch monitors originally. But again, that's something you may want to put in a help desk ticket to see. So go on to the next slide here. Here's just a little example of a classroom that we had set up. And here they're using the split screen. So students in the class have half of the screen showing the students that are at home on Zoom. And then whatever work I'm doing, be it a Google slide or a smart notebook, that's on the other half of the screen. This is the example where I was saying you would only want to probably share this document you're working on with the Zoom kids. You don't need them to see the Zoom screen over here on their Chromebook. So I would only share this application instead of my whole desktop in that case. Now, web cameras are on the all-in-one monitors. So on the left here, you can see this is an example where you have to push it down and then the webcam pops up. Some of you may have that version. Other versions, the webcam is just on the top of the screen, just like your laptop. So just depending on one, I would go in and just see where is the webcam there. And an easy way to show the class, you can just turn this all-in-one monitor to face them. So then this webcam will be what's being displayed in Zoom, and the students at home would be able to see the kids in the class. So you don't really need an external webcam to do that. You can just turn that all-in-one, or you could even have your laptop logged in facing the class. So there are different options for you to do that. All right, any other questions before we move on to Zoom?
Just one question about availability of tech people at schools. Tech people will be available based on help desk tickets, or if you need to reach out to the TOAs like myself or Brian, we do have the help desk hours ourselves that you can stop in to those. And if we need to come out to the buildings, that is something that we can help out with. So it's not that you do not have tech people who will come to your buildings. We are just covering the entire district as kind of a unit.
Yeah, so what I've done at some schools is when a lot of teachers, if they want us to come in and help set classrooms up, let us know and we'll put out an email or have your admin put out an email, and then people can sign up for time slots. So I went to a school from like 8 to 12 and just people signed up on a sheet, and then I just went room to room to help them get things set up. So that's always an option. When we get close to opening, we can come into a school and do that for you. All right, so we've been using Zoom for quite a while. Hopefully you guys are all experts now on it. One thing that we were pushing earlier in the fall was for people to download the Zoom desktop client. So we're just going to cover it a little bit. If you haven't done this yet, you do want to make sure you download the Zoom desktop client. You'll want to do this and make sure it's downloaded both on your laptop and on the all-in-one computer in your room. So the top here, we just have a link, and I'm going to go through that and show you. It goes through all the different steps. Reason we want you to download that desktop client, one of them is you're able to see the Zoom gallery view while you're sharing your screen. You can stay logged in, or I mean, you'll be logged in when you click on a Zoom link. I had a lot of teachers in the fall that when they would click somebody else's link to go to their Zoom meeting, they would come in as their RC or their one-to-one Google account, and then they couldn't be co-host and things like that. So you want to make sure you download that desktop client. Then when you click on somebody's link, you will automatically be signed in with your RCSD K-12 account. And that will allow you to be a co-host or alternative host, whatever you need. It does connect to your RCSD K-12 account. So it's a little different. It's not connecting to your Google one-to-one account. Zoom is going to connect to your K-12 account when you download the desktop client. You can go through Rock Connect. And when you log in through Rock Connect, it will also connect to that K-12 account. But the desktop client does have some additional Zoom features. You can start your meetings right from the desktop client, and it is a more stable platform. So if you haven't done that, I'm going to show a little video, but right now I just want to go click here. This will take you into our RCSD Learn site. Right here, it's explaining how to download and update your Zoom. You can check if it's already downloaded. So if you shrink all your windows down like Chrome and your email and everything, look for the Zoom icon on your desktop. If you see this icon on your desktop of your computer, you have it downloaded. And then there's a document here that has the whole process for you and what you want to go through. Some of the key things that we have to remember, when you get to the sign-in page, all right, when you're downloading that desktop client, make sure when this sign-in page comes up, you put sign in with SSO. You want to click on that button. All right, I had a lot of people go through the steps, but then when they got here, they clicked sign in with Google. That will attach it to your one-to-one account. And we want Zoom desktop to be attached to your RCSD K-12 account. So you want to click on that single sign-on button when you get to that step. And again, all those steps are right here. It's going to ask you for a domain. We just have RCSD K-12. You do not have to put the .org here. It's just RCSD K-12. So that link is in the presentation. You can go in there and view it. We do have a short video I'm going to show now of just Kathleen going through that process.
To make sure that you have the most up-to-date Zoom desktop app, we're going to go ahead and hop on to Rock Connect. I'm going to scroll down and click on my Zoom application. So come over to the right, click on Download Zoom Client. I'm going to go ahead and click Download. And we'll let Zoom download the exe here. When it's done downloading, I'm going to go ahead and open it. I want to click sign in, and I want to go to sign in with SSO. It's going to ask me my company domain. I'm going to type in RCSDK12, and I hit continue. It said open Zoom. All right, so this is what your desktop client's going to look like.
So there she has the whole process. It's pretty painless and quick. The one big difference you'll notice is this window is different. When you have the desktop client downloaded, you see this window. If you don't ever see that, you probably have not downloaded it yet. And as I said, you can just go look at the desktop and see if you have the Zoom icon on there, and then sign in and make sure you sign in with the SSO. So some Zoom settings for simultaneous instruction. Audio and video device settings are what we want to go through. When you're sharing your screen, you want to choose your video in Zoom. What video do you want to use? Are you just going to use the camera from the computer? Do you have a document camera? You can show different things through Zoom. You can log into Zoom on multiple devices, as we showed in the one video. I think that will make it a little easier, where I would just use the all-in-one for my presentation of material, and then have my laptop logged in where I can see the students at home. So then it's all separated. I don't have to worry about showing the wrong thing when I'm sharing my screen for work to be done in class. The dual monitors for extended desktops, as I said, you can do that, but if you're going to be displaying something on the TV as an extension, when you write on the all-in-one monitor, it will not show up there. So we're recommending that you duplicate those, and then whatever you're writing on the monitor is displayed on the television. Last thing is, make sure you also have authenticated users turned on. This will ensure that only RCSD students and staff can join your Zoom meetings. If you do get a student teacher, or you have a guest coming to class to present, and they're from outside of our district, you will want to go in there and turn the authentication off so that person can join the Zoom meeting. And then once you're done, I would turn it right back on so that only staff and students are able to join your Zoom. And again, the top of here, there's a link, and this will take you to another RCSD Learns page. And then all that information is just here. Changing those video and audio settings, you just click the little caret next to the camera or the caret next to the microphone. It will open up those menus where you can select a different camera or a different sound system. If you do use two devices in Zoom, we just put that one important thing here, only have the microphone and speakers on for one device, so that you can avoid that feedback that you get if two different devices are in the same room in the same meeting. Sometimes students will say that the teacher volume is too low or too high. So if you go into the audio setting, you can then change the output volume for your speakers or for your microphone. So I know a lot of times people had to adjust the microphone. Kids said they couldn't hear. You just slide this over and you can turn your microphone volume up. That way they will be able to hear you in the Zoom meetings much better. And then we just have sections on using multiple devices. If you've got the dual monitor and extended screen setups, all that stuff's available in Rock Connect. How to separate when you have half the screen and dragging it over to make the participants larger. And then also when your video settings, when you share screen, you can turn on side-by-side mode. So that'll allow you to share those and see them side by side. Again, the link is right in that slide presentation on the top here and takes you right to RCSD Learns. All right. Any Zoom questions before we talk a little bit about hygiene?
One of the questions that came up is if a hybrid student unmutes themselves or a co-teacher unmutes themselves while someone else is in the classroom is unmuted, will there be feedback? So Ryan was talking about having only one device connected to the Zoom meeting. There could potentially be feedback, and what you would have to do is just make sure that they are muting themselves. And if it gets really bad, you can always cover your hand over your mic and then have the student mute at that point, and that should cut the feedback until that issue is taken away.
Yeah, typically you get the feedback when the devices are pretty close to each other. So with the social distancing and stuff, hopefully there won't be any feedback. But as he said, I would recommend all the students face-to-face in class stay muted until if they have to ask a question, they want the people in Zoom to hear.
And then there was another question about hooking up the document camera to the TV monitor. If you yourself are a little nervous about doing that because you're bringing in the document camera from home, because you've been using it from home, you can put a help desk ticket in and they will come to the building and help you with that. Please understand that there are a lot of tickets that probably will start to be populated, and you would have to be patient. So plan on lessons without that document camera for the beginning, and giving them time to get to your room to set up that camera for you.
Yeah, and that's a great point, because we do have a little bit of time before our secondary classrooms are going to be going back, but go into your room, test things out. If you do come across something like that, I don't know how to hook my doc camera up to this, get that ticket in as soon as you can so that it leaves some time for somebody to get there and help you get it set up. All right, the next section, we're just going to talk a little bit about device hygiene. And this is stuff that we went through with the health and safety department. Just a few recommendations and things on what cleaners to use, when to use, stuff like that. So I think the best thing on here is hand hygiene is the best protection for students using technology in the classroom. Keeping your hands sanitized before and after you use any shared technology in the classroom is the best way to defend against it. So they want to reapply hand sanitizer before they use a shared device, if they touch their eyes, their nose, or their mouth. If you're having students write on the smartboard, you really want to be diligent and make sure that they sanitize their hands before they come up, and then they sanitize their hands again after they go back from the board. When we use an individual device to interact with the technology, like the stylus or a smart pen or a pointer, same process. We want to make sure they're sanitizing their hands before and after use. Really, you want to limit the number of students interacting with the technology when possible. All right? I don't want every kid in the class to have to come up and do something on the smartboard, because then they all have to sanitize their hands before and after. So we want to keep that number down to a minimum. Specific cleaning for technology devices is available, right? We want technology devices be cleaned with the yellow Lysol wipes. So you will have those provided. Schools will be getting shipments of all those Lysol yellow cleaners. Those are to be used for the technology only, right? There are different cleaners for cleaning off the desks and things in the room. Those cannot be used on the technology. Only the yellow Lysol wipes can be used to clean any technology down. So you want to wipe down all the shared devices at the end of the day. And there's a 2-minute wait time where you'll wipe it and leave it to sit. After 2 minutes, you can go back and wipe it off to dry it. Right? Give it that little bit of time to actually disinfect. Do not use the blue disinfectant spray on any devices. So you'll see these blue spray bottles that are used to clean desktops and things like that. Do not spray that on a Chromebook or an iPad or the smartboard or the television. Right? That stuff is not to be used on any of the technology. Also, we do not want you to put hand sanitizer or other liquids directly on devices. We don't want to use the hand sanitizer and try to wipe it all over the Chromebook. Only the yellow Lysol wipes are to be used on any of the technology devices. And if you have specific questions, you can reach out to the health and safety department, and they'll be happy to answer your questions and give you some more information. We just wanted to get some of that out there for you guys. So some technology resources we have available. We went to RCSD Learns. We've taken a look at that. On this slide, you can just click on that image and it opens the main RCSD Learns page. For staff, just click on this arrow and there's all sorts of different sections we have for what kind of help you're looking for and any information we can get to you. If you're not able to find anything on here that's answering your specific question, like Ryan said, reach out to one of the IT TOAs. We have our office hours throughout the week, or you can just email us directly and ask us some questions. So that resource is always there. And if you have families with questions, you can guide them here also, and we have a whole family and student section. So a lot of information is available for them on the RCSD Learns page. And then also in e-learning, we do have our web resources page. So if you're looking at different web tools you're interested in, you can click on that image, it'll open the page right up for you, or you can go to the resources in e-learning. And these are all different web resources we have available in the city school. So a lot of information about them. And then on the sides, there's links so that you can get some specifics on how to get started, how to set things up. So that's available to you in e-learning. And then our last resource page, if you are interested in getting a webcam or a wireless mic, you want to go through the help desk to fill out a ticket. So as I said, almost all of the rooms are going to have those all-in-ones with webcams, and your laptop also has a webcam. So you may not need one. If you do need an external webcam, this is where you would go to fill it out, or if you need that wireless mic. I think these could be good because you're going to be walking around the room, and that mic will keep your sound at a good level going through Zoom. You won't have to always stand next to your computer. So all you got to do is click on this link here. Gives you the directions on how to put that ticket in. So you're going to go into Rock Connect and hit the help desk ticket. If you scroll down on the page, it looks like this. You're going to go down to where it says request a device. And then you can select there if you want the microphone or if you're looking for the webcam. If you're looking for both of those, as it says here, you're going to have to do 2 tickets, one for the webcam and one for the mic. And then just fill out the information below. If your school does not populate, if you click on the drop-down arrow here, you can just start typing the name of your school and then it'll show up. So if I worked at Wilson and I don't see that on the list, just start typing Wilson in and then you'll see and you can click on it. Once you're all set, just make sure you create that ticket and then someone will be in touch from the help desk. So those will be getting ordered and delivered. I don't think it's like we have a stockpile of them and you'll get it tomorrow. So you want to get those orders in now if you're planning on using a mic or you need a webcam for when we go back. As I said, our TOAs are available daily for on-site support. We do have our office hours documents. I know many of you are familiar with it. In RCSD Learns, we do have this page, and then you can see the days of the week and what times were offered throughout the day. This is also where we advertise some of our PDs that will be going on. So we do trainings on programs like Pear Deck or Edpuzzle, and you can see the dates and when those are going to be offered. And there's also the pre-recorded tutorials. So things we've done in the past, you can go in and just click on it and see those videos, those recorded presentations, and you can learn about it on your own time. So you don't have to come just during when we're presenting it. All right. Our simultaneous instruction will be available here once we get all that posted. So we've gone to the RCSD Learns page. That's a great resource full of stuff. Don't forget to always check there. And this presentation, the videos and resources are also found on RCSD Learns. This is the link right to the simultaneous instruction. So any other questions at this point? We're about done.
We have a couple. Going back to microphone and feedback, with the wireless mic, if you do have that option, one of the questions was, how do I get a group discussion if everybody is muted? You would have to test this out, but being able to have that wireless mic and walking within 6 feet, the mic should pick up whatever student needs to talk at that moment. And you can still keep your social distancing. It's not one directional mic. It will pick up the sound that is around you in a certain amount of space. So you would just have to test that out in order to figure out where and how you want to manipulate that situation for group discussions. That was a great question. And then we have another one in regards to Smart Learns Suite information. And they want to know if I'm using Smart Notebook products and I'm writing on the desktop, will my Zoom students be able to see that? And my understanding is they will, because the desktop in and of itself is a touch screen, just like a smartboard. And as long as you're presenting that device to the students at Zoom, then they should be able to see what you're doing on your Smart Learns product.
Yeah, as long as you're using the Smart Learning Suite, everybody will be able to see it.
And then
with the Smart Learning Suite, the kids can also interact on it that are at home.
So there is a question. Someone had purchased a personal mic and wanted to know how they would be able to set that up. Again, we're not suggesting you bring in your personal device or use your personal products or pay for a personal product. You might want to consider actually go ahead and do a request for the microphone through the district, so you are supplied that device. If it is a personal device that you have to use, then that may be something you want to talk to a TOA about. But again, I would suggest using the mics the districts will be providing, particularly because we will have a better knowledge of the support for that, and the district is paying for it, so you might as well utilize that. That's it for the second. I'm getting a couple more in, and I will return once I get those.
Okay. Just as a reminder, if you don't have any questions and you are all set, make sure you complete the survey for attendance. So all these videos will be available. The slide deck is there. And you guys can access all of that stuff through our CSD Learns. Just going to go back to the one with the so if that first one where you found this session, that's where you want to go to get your attendance. So the survey for attendance, just make sure you go in and click on this so you are marked present.
So we do have one more question in regards to, if I turn off my mic while I have Zoom on, will I be able to hear my students? Your mic in and of itself is for you to communicate. Your students will still be able to communicate with you as you would use the speaker volume, either from the room speaker or your laptop speaker. And that's how you would use this, hear the students. If you decide to turn your mic off for some reason, just make sure you know how to turn it off and on quickly in case you do need to interject, because the students might not be getting the lesson and you want to make sure you stop them and correct them as you're going through it.
Yeah, your mic will only control what you're saying. You'll still be able to hear everybody else's volume fine.
And then if you want to just go back to the, how do I hook up my document camera? If you go back to that slide with the wall jack to show the different ports, because we've had a couple questions about that, and it might just be good to review the different ports that they may see in their class.
So you should see the control box. They all look very similar to this. You should have two devices plugged in now. Your touchscreen monitor is connected through the HDMI 2, which is the desktop here. That's what's on the arm. And then you should have an open port for an HDMI. And you also have a VGA port here. So talking about document cameras, I might have a document camera that uses the VGA port. So I can connect that here. And then when I go to input select up on the TV, I'm going to look for VGA because that's what I'm connected to. So you want to pay attention when you're plugging it in, which port of the HDMI am I plugging it in? And that's what I want to use and find with the input select on the television.
And that's all the questions we have about the presentation. If there's specific questions that people asked about individual needs, we can address those individually.
Yeah, and if we didn't get to your question or you still want to input a question, you can fill that form out and we'll reach out to people from the spreadsheet. Put your name in there if you want us to get back to you. We can just email you with our answers. So as I said, that attendance survey is up. We are all set. If we don't have any more questions, you are good to go.
Thank you for your time, and make sure if you want to talk to a TOA, you visit one of their office hours. And if you have technical need or want to get a webcam or a microphone, you fill out that information at the help desk ticket requests.